There's a year historians avoid discussing in full detail. 1347 marks the beginning of humanity's darkest chapter, yet the complete story remains buried in academic silence. What arrived that year would eliminate half of Europe's population within 5 years. The truth behind this catastrophe reveals something far more disturbing than the history books admit. October 1347. 12 ships docked at the Sicilian port of Messina. The crews were either dead or dying, their bodies covered in mysterious black swellings. Port authorities ordered the ships away immediately, but the damage was already done. Something had escaped those vessels, something that would reshape civilization itself. Within days, the port city descended into chaos as the infection spread through the population at an unprecedented rate. The disease announced itself with fever and weakness. Then came the buboes, grotesque swellings in the lymph nodes that turned black and oozed blood and pus. Victims experienced delirium, organ failure, and gangrene that blackened their extremities. Death arrived within 3 to 7 days. The pneumonic form proved even deadlier, spreading through the air and killing within 24 hours. No medicine worked, no prayer helped. The mortality rate reached 80% among the infected. The Black Death moved with terrifying efficiency. Trade routes became highways of death. Rats and fleas carried the bacterium Yersinia pestis from city to city, but human movement accelerated the catastrophe. By 1348, the plague had consumed Italy, France, and Spain. By 1349, it reached England, Germany, and Scandinavia. By 1351, Russia fell. No barrier stopped it. Mountains, oceans, and walls proved useless against this invisible enemy. Entire villages vanished overnight. Fields went unplowed as farmers died in mass. Bodies piled in the streets because there weren't enough living to bury the dead. The church lost 40% of its clergy, shattering the spiritual foundation of medieval society. Economic systems crumbled as labor disappeared. Parents abandoned infected children. Doctors refused to treat patients. The social contract dissolved as survival became the only law. Terror breeds madness. Communities needed someone to blame for their suffering. Jewish populations faced horrific persecution, accused of poisoning wells despite dying from the plague themselves. Thousands were burned alive in mass executions. Flagellants roamed the countryside, whipping themselves bloody, believing the plague was divine punishment. Strangers were murdered on sight. The plague didn't just kill bodies, it murdered humanity's moral compass. Medieval medicine proved utterly inadequate. Doctors wore bird-like masks filled with herbs, believing bad air caused the disease. They prescribed bloodletting, which only weakened patients further. Some recommended sitting near open sewers to balance the humors. Others suggested drinking mercury or arsenic. Quarantine measures came too late and were inconsistently enforced. Every attempted cure failed because medical science didn't yet understand bacterial infection or vectors of disease transmission. Between 1347 and 1353, the Black Death killed an estimated 75 to 200 million people worldwide. Europe lost between 30 and 60% of its entire population. Some regions suffered worse. Florence lost 75% of its citizens. Siena never recovered its pre-plague population. The global population didn't return to pre-1347 levels for over 200 years. This wasn't just an epidemic, it was a near-extinction event for humanity. The full horror of 1347 challenges comfortable narratives about human progress and resilience. It reveals how quickly civilization can collapse when facing invisible threats. Modern historians understand the plague's mechanics, but the psychological and social devastation remains difficult to fully articulate. The Black Death exposed humanity's fragility in ways that still resonate today. Some truths about our vulnerability remain too uncomfortable for mainstream historical discourse. The survivors inherited a transformed world. Labor shortages gave peasants unprecedented bargaining power, beginning the end of feudalism. The Church's failure to stop the plague weakened its authority, setting the stage for the Reformation. Art became obsessed with death and mortality. Scientific inquiry accelerated as people demanded real answers instead of religious platitudes. The Renaissance emerged from the ashes of the plague years. Catastrophe forced humanity to evolve or perish. 1347 marks the year humanity faced potential extinction and somehow survived. The Black Death killed more people than both world wars combined, yet this catastrophe remains underexplored in popular understanding. The lessons from that year about disease, social collapse, and human nature remain urgently relevant. Subscribe to discover more hidden historical truths that shaped our modern world.